One, two, three, go.
Next slide po.
Good morning agad, everyone. Let's go.
Next slide po. Word for that test. Word for that test is a clinical test used for assessing how well your patient's eye work together to form a single and fused image.
Okay, wait lang, dear, ha? Wait lang. Every time that you will be presenting, oh, nag-echo ko, pakimute. Every time na
Ayan.
magpe-present kayo, either it's a report, a thesis, or something that you want to discuss in the class, you have to give a proper introduction. Okay? Kasi hindi porket reporting is diretso tayo sa reporting. What if thesis na yung ini-introduce natin? So you have to introduce yourself first before you proceed with the reporting, ha? Sige, ulit. Ulit tayo, ha? Okay.
Sorry, Doc.
Sige.
Sabog lang.
Okay, may lakad ba?
Wala po.
Sige.
So, good morning, everyone. We are the group 3, and we were reporting the word for that test, Krimsky test, Brooks string, and Bruckner's test, and depth perception test. So, word for that test. Next slide po. Word for that test is a clinical test used for assessing how well your patient's eye work together to form a single and fused image. Word for that test is also used in detecting the suppression of the right eye and the left eye. So, nagko-consist yung word for that test mode ng one red light, two ay two green lights, and one white light sa may baba. Next slide po. So, ayan po yung itsura ng word for that test mode. Next slide po. So, for the procedure, papasuotin po natin si patient ng red and green filter glasses. Red is yung nasa right eye and green yung nasa left eye para to ensure that each eye sees different colors. Next po is um, i-open ng examiner yung word for that test mounted to perform the distance testing and near testing na sa may 13 inches. Tapos next po is tatanungin ni examiner kung ano po yung na-observe ni patient sa may box. Then the patient describes what they see depending on their perception. The test can indicate normal binocular vision, suppression of one eye, or diplopia. Next slide po. So ito po yung makikita ni patient. Pag nakakita po siya ng 4 dots, tapos yung dot niya is nasa taas yung red, and yung dalawang green is nasa gitna, tapos may white color sa baba, nagkaano po siya ng normal binocular single vision. And then kung ang na-observe naman ni patient is tatlong dots na green color, meron siyang right eye suppression. Next po is kung may nakita po si patient na 2 dots and then yung dot na yun is kulay red, meron po siyang left eye suppression. Next slide po. Kung nakakita naman po si patient ng red dot tsaka green dot na parang paiba-iba, yung tinatawag po dun is alternate suppression. Tapos kung meron naman po nakikita si patient na 5 dots and yung dot na yung kulay red is nasa right side, ano na wala.
Hala, sorry po, Dok. Mahira lang po yung wifi.
Meron ba iba kayong ka-group na pwedeng mag-present ng slides? Ayan, pwede na. Sige.
So, gaya nga po ng sinabi ko kanina, um, 'pag may nakita po si patient na 5 dots and then yung red dot is nasa may right side, and then yung kulay green naman is nasa left side, ang tawag po dun is uncrossed diplopia. Next po is kung may nakita naman ulit si patient na 5 dots kaso parang baliktad na siya na yung green light is nasa may right side and yung red light is nasa left side, cross diplopia naman po yung tawag. Next slide po. Ayun naman po, 'pag nakakita na naman siya ng 5 dots, pero yung dot na yun is para siyang arrow na, yung red dot is nasa taas, and then yung green dot is nasa baba na tatlo. Tawag naman po dun is vertical diplopia with right hypotropia. Tas yung last naman po na ma-observe natin is 5 dots din siya kaso parang baliktad naman siya, yung red dot naman yung nasa baba and yung green dot yung green color yung nasa taas. Ang tawag naman po dun is vertical diplopia with left hypotropia. So, 'pag mag-o-observe po yung patient, kunwari bata, na makikita niya is 4 dots sa near, pero yung distance niya is parang may suppression, ano daw po, nagiging present daw po yung peripheral fusion ng bata. Next slide po. And next po.
Good morning, Doc. Good morning, classmates. Next po is Krimsky test. Next slide po. Ito po yung example ng Krimsky test. Yun po, the first, yung left side po is the good eye and yung right side naman po is bad eye. Ang ginamit po dito is loose prism. Next slide po. So ano nga ba ang Krimsky? Krimsky po is kinuha sa pangalan ni Dr. Gunnar Krimsky na siya rin ang nag-develop po nung mid-20th century. This test is a functionally component of the comprehensive eye examination, especially when evaluating patients suspected with having strabismus. The Krimsky test is particularly helpful for quantifying the angle of the deviation in patient with strabismus, especially in cases where the patient may not able to verbally cooperate with the more complex tests, such as in young children. Strabismus, commonly referred as the cross eye, occur when the eye are not properly aligned, leading to issues with depth perception, coordination, and sometimes even amblyopia or lazy eye if left untreated. So, ang Krimsky po, para mas in a summary type po, same po siya with the Herberge test. Kung alam ko po na alam din natin yun kasi ginagawa din po natin sa test. Kaso nga lang kung may pagkakaiba po siya, ang Krimsky po is ginagamitan ng prism para ma-determine kung how much prism po yung kailangan para mag-centered po yung reflex po ng yung mag-centered po yung reflex. Next slide po. Measuring the extent of ocular misalignment. The Krimsky is a straightforward yet highly effective method for determining the degree of ocular misalignment. In other words, it helps to define strabismus and its strabismic angle. So, Krimsky po is, meron po siyang two types of Krimsky. The first one is the regular Krimsky, and the second one is the modified Krimsky. Regular Krimsky po is, yung ginagamit po natin is yung, meron po sa poly yung prism bar. Yung prism bar po sa regular Krimsky po is, nilalagay po yun sa bad eye po natin. Yung sa may, Yung modified Krimsky naman po is nilalagay naman po in a good eye. Same procedure lang po siya, magkaiba nga lang po ng paglalagyan. Yung isa po sa good eye, yung isa naman po sa bad eye. Pero some sa research po is optometrists usually use the regular Krimsky, ay modified Krimsky, yun po yung nilalagay nila yung prism bar sa good eye po. Same purpose lang naman po sila para ma-center nila para mag-center po yung reflex po. Yan po. In measuring prism naman po, meron po tayong two types of deviation po, the horizontal and the vertical po. Yung horizontal naman po, esotropia, base out naman po siya. Yung exotropia naman po is base in naman po siya. So vertical deviation naman po, hypertropia, base down naman po siya. Hypertropia po yun. Tapos yung hypotropia naman po is base up. Kung napapansin nyo po, magkabaliktadan po sila. Kung hyper po siya, base down po yung gagamitin. Pag hypo naman po, base up po siya. Yun po. Next po. Procedure of the Krimsky. During the test, the patient focuses on the target while the examiner uses a prism lens to divert light into a deviated eye. Point light is a distance of 33 cm. Prism is placed in front of the normal fixating eye to correct the deviation of the corneal light reflex. The power of prism is increased until the squinting eye corneal light reflex is centered. Yun po yung sinasabi ko kanina. The examiner can determine the angle of deviation by measuring how far the corneal light reflex is from the pupil centre. An important criterion for assessing the degree of strabismus and directing therapy choices in this angle. Yan po yung procedure niya. Si patient po is sitting lang po sa pen light, then yun po, si examiner naman po, ilalagay niya po yung prism. Depende po kung ano po yung gagamitin niya, the modified or the regular po, kung saan niya po ilalagay yun. Then dun po malalaman kung how much prism po yung kailangan ng patient para mag-centered po yung light. Yun po. In observing the reflex naman po, yun nga po, corneal reflex, patient look to the darker, adjusts the prism para mag-centered po yung light. Ang recording po dito is may degree po kasing nakasulat doon sa prism po. Makikita po natin doon. Malalaman po natin yun once na measure po natin yung sa distance and near fixation na po. Next slide po. Merong benefits po ang Krimsky test. One of the key advantage of the Krimsky test is a versatility. It can be performed in various settings, ranging from a well-equipped clinic to an resource-limited environment, making it accessible to a wide range of practitioners. Additionally, its simplicity facilitates quick and reliable assessment, enabling timely intervention and management of strabismus-related issues. So yung benefits daw po ng Krimsky test is madali po siyang gawin kasi hindi na po kailangan na pumuntang clinic as long as meron ka po ng gagamitin just like a prism bar and alam mo po yung gagawin mo, pwede po siyang ma-access agad. Ang indication po niyan is when the Krimsky test and prism cover test are performed only if the patient has manifest deviation. Ibig sabihin po, ang main po talaga ng Krimsky is tropia. Ang ibig sabihin po ng tropia, alam po naman natin na nakikita na po siya natin agad. Hindi na po kailangan ng cover test para sa poria. Means tropia po is nakikita na po agad. Then, meron po siyang lastly important consideration po. Ensure the patient does not change fixation during the procedure for accurate results. Kailangan po yung patient po is nakikoordinate rin po na hindi siya pabago-bago ng tingin para mas accurate po yung makuha pong result. The goal is to make a bad eye assume the fixation role of the good eye and vice versa. Same lang po siya, gaya nga ng sinabi ko po kanina, sa regular and modified po, kahit magkaiba po sila ng paglalagyan, ang main goal pa rin po nila is para centered po yung reflex po ng light. The Krimsky provide an accurate measurement of ocular deviation and helps in assessing the effectiveness of optical correction in patient in strabismus. So yun po yung procedure and ano po ba yung Krimsky at ano po yung benefits niya. Next slide po.
Okay, Brock string. Next slide po. So a Brock string is a low-tech affordable vision training tool consisting of a string and a series of colored beads. Dr. Frederick W. Brock developed Brock string. Frederick was an American optometrist in the 1950s, and this string has since become a staple in the field of vision therapy, with optometrists, therapists, and athletes widely using to improve various visual skills. So itong Brock string is a low-tech and affordable tool that anyone can use at any ages then. And this one was developed by Dr. Frederick Brock. So it was also named after him. And the purpose of this string is to detect any various eye problems, so such as convergence, accommodation problems, and also for improving the eyes of the patient. And the good thing about this Brock string is affordable siya. So if ever na you don't have your own Brock string, you can actually make one for your own. So it is also easy to do it for your own. So ang kakailanganin mo lang dyan is a string and a series of colored beads. So if you don't have one, you can make your own DIY for Brock string. Okay, next slide. So for which vision issues is Brock string used for? So it is a highly effective tool for vision therapy, commonly employed in addressing various types of convergence issues, which includes convergence insufficiency and convergence excess. Children who struggle with reading difficulties or exhibit slow reading tendencies frequently encounter convergence challenges. Furthermore, it is also beneficial for individuals dealing with conditions like amblyopia and strabismus. So this test is usually common for patients who have convergence issues. So gaya nung nabanggit here, convergence insufficiency and also convergence excess. And also for children who have difficulty or struggling for reading kasi sa mga children's kasi usually dyan pa lang yung time na mag-i-improve pa lang yung eyes nila. So there are some instances na merong mahihirapan din yung mga children to read at a level or a certain distances. So this tool can be useful for them, and especially if may mga other challenges like sa convergence, sa accommodation ng patient kapag halimbawa hindi nila nakikitang maigi kung alin yung sa mas malayo or sa mas malapit. So itong Brock string, beneficial siya for children and also for patients who have amblyopia and strabismus. And also for depth perception, if ever na hindi rin ma-distinguish ng patient yung nakikita nila at certain distance. Ayan. Next slide. So how to use a Brock string? So the Brock string is simple in design but highly effective in training the visual system. It typically consists of a string around 3 to 4 feet long or 1 to 1.2 meters with several color beads evenly spaced along it. So a person fastens one end to an object like a doorknob or grasps it while holding the other end against the tip of the nose, and they evenly space the beads along the string. So itong Brock string, this one is used for a patient. So ang gagawin ni patient is hahawakan niya yan, yung isang string here sa may tip ng nose niya at saka dyan siya titingin doon sa may beads. And if the patient doesn't have assistant, yung dulo ng string, pwede niyang itali sa may doorknob or something na sakto sa height niya para at least straight yung nakikita ni patient So, mas madali niyang makikita yung beads and mas madali niyang madidistinguish yung different beads. But if the patient has assistant, then yung assistant is pwede naman niyang hawakan din sa dulo and i-assist niya yung patient sa pagtingin ng color beads. Ayan. Next slide. So procedure, so step 1 is focus. The person looks at the first bead closest to them, anchoring the string at eye level and helps them bring the bead into focus. So the first step is hawakan ni patient. So kailangan usually straight yan para at least hindi lie-low ng konti yung string and mas makikita niya maigi yung beads. So the first thing that the person look is the first bead para at least ma-distinguish niya yung makikita niya sa first bead and the other beads then. Step 2 is shift. So the individual then shifts their gaze to the next bead. So from first bead and then the middle bead. The goal is to maintain clear focus on this bead while keeping the other beads in their peripheral vision. Furthermore, the subject should see 2 strings entering the bead and 2 strings leaving it, making a large X. So kung sa first bead, ang unang makikita ni patient is parang letter V na string or parang 2 image na nagda-diverge na string sa unang bead. Sa second or sa middle bead, ang makikita naman niya is mag-cross yung string. So parang letter X or parang X yung makikita ni patient. Then next slide. And then step 3 is continue. So first bead, middle, and then sa third bead, the person continues shifting their gaze from bead to bead, alternating between near and far vision, ensuring that all the beads are clear and single. You should notice that the 2 strings making a V toward the bead and crossing exactly at the bead. The 2 closest beads will be double. So kung yung sa first bead is parang nakadiverge yung string or parang letter V yung itsura niya, sa middle is X, and then sa third bead is naka-invert na V. So yun yung mapapansin ni patient kapag kalimbawang shift niya yung gaze from first, middle, and the third bead. So kailangan merong madi-differentiate ni patient yung string sa image niya. So next slide. So ayan siya. Step 1 is focus siya sa unang bead. So letter V, para siyang V. Makikita niya dun sa string, parang 2 string but in a V shape. Step 2 is sa middle bead or yung sa may red bead. So parang nakakross na yung string dyan. And step 3 naman is yung sa third bead. So parang naka-converge or naka-invert yung V. So dito sa procedure ni Brock string, so the individual focuses 1 bead at a time to practice their shift of their gaze from near to far objects. Ayan. Next slide. So benefits of using a Brock string. First is eye teaming. So the Brock string helps improve eye teaming, or also known as binocular vision. It encourages both eyes to work together, which is crucial for depth perception and maintaining a single clear image. So yun yung benefits ni Brock string. Of course, for eye coordination for both eyes to work together. So from looking at the different beads, dyan mag-coordinate yung eyes ni patient para at least mas madali niyang makita shift by shift yung beads, and also para ma-improve din yung accommodation niya and yung depth perception to distinguish the images and also yung color ng beads. Sa accommodation, so accommodation refers to the ability of the eyes to adjust their focus from near to far objects. So using a Brock string challenges the accommodation system, helping it become more flexible and responsive. So for accommodation, para at least mas adjust yung focus nila, mas madali nilang makikita from near and far distance objects para mas madaling ma-focus in near, sa middle, and also sa far. So sa accommodation din kasi dyan din nagko-coordinate yung both eyes ni patient. So magiging mas flexible, mas magiging responsive siya when it comes to focusing at certain distances. Next slide. Convergence. So convergence is the ability of the eyes to turn inward to focus on a near object. If you are not converging, then one eye remains looking forward instead of meeting with the other eye. If this is one of your problems, then you may be seeing double. The string helps improve convergence, making it easier to view nearby objects, such as reading or working on a computer. So for patients who have problem with their convergence or who have convergence issues like convergence insufficiency or convergence excess, a Brock string is a great vision tool for them to enhance, especially when they have problems regarding with their near distances. This tool can help assess their what they see on sa bead. So mas mapapadali din yung pag-improve ng eyes nila with this tool, and para at least mas magiging mas madali, and at the same time mas may improve palalo yung sa pagtingin nila sa malapit, and also when it comes to working on sa malalapit like reading or using their devices. Yan. So for convergence issues, beneficial din ang paggamit ng Brock string. Next slide. So an inability or decreased ability to converge the eyes while focusing on near objects is described as convergence insufficiency. With the Brock string vision therapy tool, the eyes are forced to work together, improving convergence skills and to strengthen their eye muscles. So, gaya din ng nasabi ko kanina, ayan, for convergence insufficiency. So, pwede rin siya to do with the Brock string to improve their convergence skills and ayan, to strengthen their eye muscles. Next slide. Sports performance. So athletes use the Brock string to enhance their visual skills, including hand-to-eye coordination, tracking moving objects, and maintaining focus on a target while being aware of their surroundings. So this can significantly improve their performance in sports like tennis, baseball, or golf. So sa vision therapy tool, this one can also use for our athletes. So sa athletes natin, pwede rin natin gamitin yung Brock string sa kanila, especially to improve their sports performance. Ayan, so para ma-enhance yung visual skills, yung hand-to-eye coordination, yung pag-track ng mga objects, and also to improve and strengthen their visual system and visual skills. So it is also beneficial for athletes to do this test para at least mas may improve natin, and very useful to do this for them to have their performance at its best. So, pwede rin siya sa mga athletes natin. Next slide. So, in conclusion, a Brock string is a valuable and straightforward tool for improving various visual skills, including eye theming, accommodation, and convergence. It is widely used in vision therapy to help individuals with vision problems as well as by athletes seeking a competitive edge in their respective sports. So if you're looking to enhance your visual abilities or seeking to help someone improve their vision, consider giving the Brock string a try. So it is an accessible and effective way to level up your visual game. So that's the good thing about Brock string. It is convenient and accessible for all people at any age, so they can use this Brock string to enhance their eye exercises, and especially for patients who have, gaya kanina, for patients who have strabismus, amblyopia, problems with their accommodation, and also for athletes. So this Brock string is a great tool for them to strengthen and improve their eyes and to improve their visual skills. So that's for Brock string. Next topic.
So, good morning po everyone. I will explain the Bruckner test po, or the fundus red reflex test. So this test is a simple, inexpensive, and quick exam that can detect refractive errors and other eye abnormalities. And it is sabi ko nga po, it is also known as the fundus red reflex test or trans-illumination test. And it was named after a Swiss ophthalmologist, Dr. Roland Bruckner. Next slide po. So the purpose of this test is to assess the symmetry of binocular fixation by comparing the brightness of the red reflex in each of the two eyes, and this test is used to screen for strabismus, anisometropia, media opacities, and posterior pole anomalies in infants and young pre-verbal children. So yung posterior pole anomalies po is yung mga abnormalities in the back of the eye or the retina between the optic disc and the macula. So ang ginagamit po dito is the direct ophthalmoscope. Next slide po. So the setup is the patient removes his or her correction glasses. The room illumination should be dim. The examiner holds the ophthalmoscope, and the Bruckner test should be done with non-dilated pupils because dilating the pupils can significantly affect the results, particularly when assessing for refractive errors, as the altered pupil size can create misleading information about the presence and severity of an issue. And this can lead to false positives or negatives in the test. Next slide po. So for the procedure, the first one is the positioning. The examiner sits at a distance of approximately 1 meter from the patient, and the patient is instructed to look straight at the examiner. So next is the preparing of ophthalmoscope for Bruckner test. You must turn on the ophthalmoscope, setting it to emit a large white spot of light. Next po. For the illumination, direct the light from the ophthalmoscope at the patient's eyes, ensuring both eyes are illuminated within the circle of ophthalmoscopic light. And focus the ophthalmoscope on the pupillary area of both eyes. Next po. For the assessment of the red reflex allows assessment for media opacities, strabismus, and refractive errors. And we need to judge the red reflexes by the quality and intensity, size of the pupil, position of the light reflex, and the quality of the corneal light reflexes. So, sa quality and intensity po, observe and compare the quality and intensity of the red reflex in both eyes. Check and compare the size of the pupils, and kailangan po natin i-note yung position ng light reflex sa each eye, and we need to assess the corneal light reflex for symmetry and quality. And for the comparison of red reflex in the Bruckner test, kailangan po natin ensure na yung reflexes are mirror image of each other. And this symmetry is important for accurate assessment. Yung brighter reflex po in one eye compared to the other may indicate an abnormality. Next po. Ayan po yung interpretation ng mga red reflex. So kapag yung lighter crescent po is visible sa top ng red reflex, it is hyperopia. With increasing degrees of hyperopia, the overall red reflex will become dimmer. Next po. Yan po. Kung sa hyperopia po, yung crescent is nasa taas, sa myopia po, yung crescent is nasa baba. And with increasing degrees of myopia, the overall red reflex will become dimmer. Next po. So in astigmatism po, kung yung hyperopia and myopia is crescent, dito po is a straight line across the pupil. And this occurs due to an increase converging in one meridian as compared to the other. Next po. So, anisometropia po, ito po yung condition na yung dioptric power ng two eyes is magkaiba. And kung makita nyo po, yung magkaiba po yung color ng red reflex. So, yung the higher the refractive error, the dimmer the reflex. Sa anisometropia po, yung color ng red reflex is different. And the size and position of the crescents are also clearly different in each eye. Next po. Yan po, pag media opacities naman po, parang makikita po natin na merong mga black marks sa red reflex. And example po is corneal abrasion and corneal scars. Next po. Yan po, retinoblastoma, loss of red reflex and development of leukocoria or glucocoria or the white reflex. Yun po yung condition where the pupil of the eye appears white, gray, yellow, or silvery instead of red. Next po. Yun naman po for strabismus, asymmetry of the red reflex, yung hindi po equal yung pupil sizes and yung displacement ng corneal light reflex. And next po is exotropia. The red reflex will be brighter than the eye that turns outward. And the white corneal reflex will be moved inward towards the nose. Next po. Yan po for esotropia. Kung makita niyo po yung red reflex yung is brighter that on the eye that goes inward. And the white reflex will be moved outward toward the exocanthus. Next po.
Good morning po everyone. Good morning po, Doc. Depth perception test. What is depth perception? Depth perception po is also called stereopsis. It's a critical aspect po of our vision that allows us to perceive the world in three dimensions po. This ability is essential po for our everyday tasks such as driving po, playing sports, and even simple activities like pouring water. This test is a diagnostic tool used to evaluate this aspect of vision, particularly po sa mga bata, to ensure po yung mga binocular vision po nila is nagde-develop po correctly. And it determines if your eyes can work together and if your brain can process what you see correctly. So each eye po views the world from slightly different angle, and the brain combines these two slightly different images to create a sense of depth. So yun po yung tinatawag po nating binocular vision po, both eyes po. And this test can be part of a standard eye exam or standalone test if you might have a depth perception issue. So when doing this test po, explain lang po in the simplest terms and reassure the patient or the child that it is quick and painless po. So, yan po yung mga example po ng mga test po. So, when does the depth perception develop? Around 6 months of age po, yung binocular vision po natin is nag-start na po to develop. Both eyes po start working together more efficiently to help the children to see the world in 3 dimensions po. Babies are learning all about this when they drop something from their high chair or on purpose and watch it fall on the floor. Development of depth perception or binocular vision helps your children to gain confidence in their body. So, the loss of depth perception po is associated with deficits in performance of certain motor skills and leads to self-reported problems that the lower the vision-related quality of life. So, ang mga bata po, pwede na rin po silang mag-undergo po ng stereopsis test during their eye exam, typically around 3 years old po. And ang adults po can also benefit po from stereopsis testing, especially if nakaka-experience po sila ng depth perception issue or binocular issues po. The importance of stereopsis testing. This test is crucial for several reasons po. First, early detection of vision problems po. Nakakatulong po ito para maka-identify po ng strabismus or misalignment of the eyes and amblyopia po or lazy eye in early stages po, which is essential for effective treatment. Second, assessing binocular vision. It evaluates po the coordination po ng dalawang mata to ensure po that they work together correctly to provide a cohesive images po. Yan po, dinidetermine niya po if yung both eyes po natin is nag-work po together and if yung brain po natin can process what you see correctly po. Third, monitoring development. Sa mga bata po, ini-ensure niya po if their visual system is developing properly, which is vital po para sa kanila for learning and overall development. For clinical applications of stereopsis testing naman po, These are variable tools diagnosing and managing various visual and neurological conditions po. Katulad po ng strabismus, katulad misalignment of the eyes, it can lead po to poor stereopsis. Early detection through stereopsis tests can guide the management and treatment of this condition. Second, yung amblyopia po, yung lazy eye. It can severely impact the perception. Stereopsis tests can help diagnose and monitor the progress of treatment. Third, the binocular vision disorders. Yung mga conditions po like convergence insufficiency can affect stereopsis. Testing helps diagnose and prescribe appropriate vision therapy po. Fourth, the neurological disorders. Certain neurological conditions can affect depth perception. Conditions po like multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, and stroke po can affect the brain's ability to process visual information accurately. These disorders po nakaka-disrupt po ng coordination po between ng eyes po natin and the brain. Pwede po siyang mag-lead to difficulties in perceiving depth po. Ito po mga test na po ito is pwede po siyang mag-aid in the diagnosis and management of this disorder. The methods of stereopsis testing. Meron pong various methods po na ginagamit po to test stereopsis, each with advantage and application. So ito, meron pong example po dito na most common tests po na ginagamit for stereopsis testing. First po is titmus fly. It is widely used, especially in pediatric ophthalmology. It involves a booklet with three-dimensional images when viewed through polarized glasses. The test start with large disparities. Katulad po nung nasa picture po, yung may large fly po, and progresses to smaller disparities, helping to go the patient stereoscopic vision po. And second, the random dot stereogram test. This test involves random dot patterns that form a shape, katulad po nung nasa picture din po, when viewed with both eyes. It is a more sophisticated test as it eliminates monocular cues, ensuring that the depth perception is purely due to binocular vision po. Third, lung stereo test is another commonly used that does not require special glasses or polarized glasses. It is used cylindrical gratings to create a three-dimensional image when viewed binocularly. Ito pong test na to is useful po siya for young children po. If yung bata po is uncooperative or refuses po to wear special glasses po, this test po is good alternative po para po sa mga bata. For the Frisbee stereo test, this test uses a real depth, providing a set of transparent plates with the different patterns that create a stereoscopic effect, and it is useful for testing in young children and those who may not understand or cooperate with other tests. Yan po yung nasa picture po. And yung last po is yung word for that po. Katulad po nung in-explain po nung kagroup ko po kanina. Pwede rin po siya sa stereopsis testing po. While primarily a suppression test, this test can also provide information about stereopsis. The patient wears glasses with a red and green lenses and is asked to view a target with 4 dots. The pattern of 4 dots seen can indicate the presence and quality of stereoscopic vision. So, yun po yung 5 po. Meron pong titmus fly test, random dot stereogram test, lung stereo test, and Frisbee stereo test, and word for that test po. So, the treatment and management of vision problems diagnosed to stereopsis testing. Early detection of vision problems through stereopsis testing allows for timely and effective treatment. First, yung vision therapy po. Customized exercise can improve binocular vision and depth perception. Ito po ay non-invasive treatment po that aims to improve depth perception through targeted exercise and activities. Example po nito is yung eye tracking exercise po. Yung tinutulungan po ito para ma-improve po yung eye coordination and enhance depth perception po. Second, corrective lenses po. Glasses or contact lenses can correct refractive errors that impact stereopsis. These lenses can help individuals with certain eye conditions po such as astigmatism, anisometropia, which can contribute po to depth perception problems po. Third, patch therapy. For amblyopia naman po or lazy eye, patching the stronger eye can help improve the vision in the weaker eye. So yung eye patch therapy po forces the brain to rely more on the weaker eye, stimulating visual development and strengthening the visual pathways in the brain. So yun po, meron po tayong tatlo pong common treatments po for vision problems diagnosed through stereopsis test. Yun po, vision therapy, corrective lenses, and patch therapy po. And that's all. Thank you po for listening.
Okay, thank you, reporters. Any questions from the group regarding their reports? Yes, Guan.
Good morning po. May question po ako kay Janelle. Hindi ko pa nagagawa yung cream ski. So, 'di ba, yung regular cream ski ilalagay mo siya sa bad eye, tapos yung modified cream ski sa good eye. Tapos ang i-observe mo, yung corneal reflex, isi-center mo yun.
Yes po.
Pag kunwari, ang pinili ko si modified, nilagay ko siya sa good eye, anong i-observe ko? Yung good eye or yung sa bad eye?
Ano?
'Di ba yung prism nilagay mo sa good eye, so yun yung modified Krimsky. Tapos, saan ko i-observe yung corneal reflex para ma-center yung dito sa yung bad
Ano
dito
po?
sa eye?
Yung sa sa modified po yan, no?
Oo.
Yung sa modified po, nung inaral ko po siya, then sinerch ko din po. Yung iba po talaga is sa good eye po talaga nilalagay. Then yung good eye po nilalagay. Then yung sa left eye naman po, parang nagsicentered po siya. Parang, po. Kunyari kung
si Uri.
esotropia po siya, papasok po, magiging centered po siya once na yung degree of the prism bar is na-align niya na po.
Paano pag sa yung regular Krimsky, yung prism nilagay mo siya sa bad eye? Ano yung ino-observe mo doon? Yung bad eye pa rin?
Opo. Yes po.
Yung bad
Ganun
eye.
pa rin.
Okay.
Same procedure lang po siya. Then, ang main purpose lang po talaga nun is para mag-centered po yung corneal light reflex po sa gitna po.
Thank you.
Gusto niyo bang dagdagan yung sinabi ng kagrupo niyo? Reporters, do you agree with Carpo? O dahil nagkanya-kanya na naman kayo ng report, kaya hindi na inaral yung kay Carpo. Ano ang mangyayari sa mata if you will put prism? Either sa good or sa bad eye. Or for example, the regular Krimsky, in which the bad eye is being covered with the prism. Ano sa tingin niyo ang mangyayari sa bad eye? Hindi lang reporters ang tinatanong ko dito. Visualize and think. What are the properties or anong nangyayari if you put prism in front of the eye? Ano yung properties ng prism? An eye looking through a prism will be what? Hmm. Ano po? Should I call names? Arshaga. What will happen if an eye look to a prism?
Wala pong idea, Doc.
Valido.
Doc, ang alam ko po is it shifts the image pag sa perspective po ni patient.
That is for the image. I'm asking is what will happen to the eye that looks through a prism? Tuy.
Ano po, Dok, parang nung ginawa po namin before yung test, pumapasok po yung mata niya po. Depende po pag base in or base out po.
Okay, when an eye looking through a prism, saan napupunta ang mata? Where?
Sa gitna po, Doc.
Sa gitna? Bakit siya mapupunta sa gitna?
For example po,
Ano ang
palabas po.
prism natin?
Po,
Ano ang itsura ng prism?
bali ano po, para siyang triangle, manifest, papalapad.
So, hindi siya mapupunta sa gitna. Because magkaiba ang index of refraction ng apex tsaka ng base. Ulitin natin. May nagsabi, sabi ni Tuy, depende daw kung ito ay base in or base out. O let's start with base in. Kapag naglagay ka ng base in front of the eye, where will be the eye directed? In or out?
Out po, Doc.
Out? An eye, a light passing through a prism will be dispersed towards the base. Kaya kayo nagkakaroon ng dispersion. An eye looking through a prism will be bent or displaced towards the apex. An eye, an object seen through a prism will be displaced towards the apex. Diba? So, naglagay ka ng base in prism. Kung naka-base in ka, nasaan ang apex? Alam nyo ba yung itsura ng prism? Nasaan ang base? Nasa makapal o nasa manipis?
Nasa makapal po, Doc.
Nasa makapal. So, kapag ang makapal ay nasa base in, ibig sabihin nakapaloob.
Yes po,
So,
Doc.
this is your prism. This is your prism. You have your apex and you have your base. So, kapag sinabi nating base in, si base ang malapit sa ilong or si base ang nasa ilong, kaya base in. Kasi sabi lang natin kanina, an eye looking through a prism will be papupunta sa apex, ang posisyon ng mata. So, ang magiging posisyon niyan is naka-exo ang mata ng pasyente na nakalagay si base in. Kapag naman naka-base out, Ito ang makapal, nandito sa labas, papasok ngayon. Kasi ang apex nyo is nasa ISO. Diba? So, ang tendency of the eye, it will turn inward. Now, ang pinag-uusapan natin is yung naka-covered na mata. What do you think will happen to the uncovered eye? Think. Visualize. Andun na yun. Iisipin nyo na lang kung anong ginagawa ng mata, anong posisyon ng mata sa kabila. It is given.
Mag-e-exo din, Dok.
Mag-e-exo din ba siya? Pag-usapan natin muna si base in. Base in, naka-exo tong isa. So, ano mangyayari sa kabila? Naka-covered si right eye ng base in prism. So, the tendency of the right eye is deviate outward kasi nandun yung apex. So, what will the deviation of your left? Pag pinag-usapan natin si conjugate movements, ano ang naaalala nyo sa conjugate movements of the eye? Abalos.
Dok, pag sinabi kong conjugate movement, para siyang yung coordinated movement, nagko-coordinate yung movement ng both eyes.
So, nagko-coordinate. O, ano mangyayari sa left eye?
Ano po, kapag base in po siya, tapos naglagay ng prism na yung right po magbe-base out, tapos yung kabilang, ay yung left eye is mapupunta rin sa towards nasal.
Hindi magbe-base out si right kasi naka-base in yung prism. Si prism lang ang pwede nating tawaging base out saka base in. The eye, we cannot call the eye turning base out or turning base in. It's either ISO or EXO. Sige, ulit.
Kapag yung right eye ang towards ESO po, naka-ESO po sa right. Yung right eye naka-ESO. So kapag nilagyan po natin ng prism, yung right eye mo is mapupunta sa EXO. So parang susunod din po yung left eye. Pag nagpunta sa lateral or sa dito po sa towards sa palabas si right, si left naman po towards in.
Kasi conjugate, kung saan papunta ang isang mata, susunod yung kabilang mata. So if your right eye is turning out, automatically your left eye should turn in.
Dok, parang maghihilaan sila. Parang...
Yes, kaya nga conjugate. Ngayon, if there is a weakling of the muscle, medyo pigil yung movement ng isa. Hindi tayo dapat nabubuo dahil lang sa mga pine-present natin na procedures, ganito ganyan, kasi nga hands-on na tayo. So, kailangan sa mga susunod na reporter, if you will present something, kailangan, bukod sa binabasa nyo na ayoko nang binabasa, sinabi ko na nga sa inyo ayoko nang binabasa, iniintindi at sinasabi kahit papano kung paano ang nangyayari or paano ang procedure. Kasi ang mga kaklase nyo, pwede nyo bigyan yan ng copy ng PowerPoint. Babasahin na lang din nila yan kung babasahin nyo lang din naman sa kanila. 'Di ba? Kaya rin ako nagbigay ng reporting kasi hindi pwedeng ako lang na ako ang nagbibigay ng input. So paano mas maiintindihan ng kaklase natin kung babasahin lang natin yon? Wala tayong masyadong pine-present. Hindi ako nagsasabi na kailangan meron kayong prism bar, kailangan meron kayong kahit ano. Kasi ako nga sa papel nga lang ako gumawa ng prism, di ba? Kasi wala rin naman akong prism bar sa bahay. Hindi ko rin naman kayo unyong obliga na tara punta tayo sa poly, nandun lahat ng gamit, doon tayo magklase kasi hindi ko nga kaya. Kaya nga as much as possible, kahit online lang tayo, sana kahit papano, nabubuhay yung imaginations natin na nandun tayo sa loob ng clinic, na hindi tayo nandito sa kanya-kanya nating bahay. Again, kung babasahin nyo lang, ipasa nyo na lang yung PowerPoint, wag na kayong mag-discuss. Hindi ko sinasabing mali yung ginawa. Ang sinasabi ko lang is maganda kasi yung topic nyo at gagamitin kasi yan hindi lang sa PEDYA. Pwede nyo pa yun magamit sa ibang clinical subject. Kung naipaliwanag nyo ng kahit simpleng hand gestures o maghanap kayo ng simulation na, 'di ba? Para mas ma-visualize sa mga classmates. Sige, isa-isahin natin. So, doon tayo sa Krimsky muna kasi yun ang tanong. Kahit ito ay modified or regular na Krimsky, ano ba ang chine-check or tinitingnan natin na movement? Sabi kanina, kapag regular Krimsky, nasaan si prism? Sa bad or sa good eye? Carpo.
Nasa bad po, Doc.
Nasa bad eye. So, kung si bad eye is naka-ISO, anong ilalagay mo dapat na prism?
Base out po, Doc.
Base out. Naka-ISO na siya. So, pag naglagay ka ng base out, mas papasok ang mata. Oh. Diba? Kasi Doc, yun ang nakalagay pag ISO base out. I will repeat my question. Naka-ISO si right. And then, ang gagawin mo is regular Krimsky. Sabi mo, ang prism is nakalagay sa bad eye. So, ang naka-ISO si bad eye. Di ba? The question is, what type of prism will you use? Sabi mo, base out. So, kung naka-base out siya, si apex nandito, mas papasok to. Diba? Anong mangyayari? I-move mo pa siya, pataas or pababa, to know the degree. So, papasok lang ng papasok. Diba? So, if you are checking for the bad eye, you will use a prism that is opposite doon sa division. Diba? So, kung ito ay naka-ISO, you will use base out. So that the ISO mag-turn in. Mag-turn out. Mahatak siya palabas. Tama? Now, habang di ba, parang, depende yan. Meron tayo tinatawag na prism bar. Yun yung isang ganon. Tingnan nyo ako. Kasi wala akong ganon. Isa siyang ganyan na magkakadikit na prism. When we say loose prism, yun yung isa-isang prism. Now, sa prism bar, meron na doon naka-base in saka naka-base out. Meron na silang ganon. Sa loose prism, ikaw ang magaganon kung base in or base out. Now, iba-ibang power yon or iba-ibang dioptric power yon ng prism. Sa ano tayo ha? Regular ha? Nakalagay ito, base in, kasi siya ay naka-ISO. base in, and then itataas mo. Pag sinabi itataas, yung prism bar is bababa. Kasi doon yung pataas yung amount ng diopter. Diba? Dok, sa iba itataas, ba't bababa yan? Kasi yung diopter ng prism is pataas. So, pag tinataas mo siya, bumababa ngayon yung prism mo. Hanggang sa magdiretso. Hindi po sa gitna ha. Hindi mapupunta sa gitna hanggang mag-fixate or dumiretso yung deviating eye, which is nakaiso kanina. So, ang mapapansin nyo sa undeviating eye, siya yung papasok. Huwag nyong pakialaman to kasi nandito kayo nakatingin. Malalaman nyo lang na tama yung nangyayari kasi nga pumapasok to unti-unti. Pag nakaiso kasi, hindi naman parehas nakapasok yan eh. Pwedeng isang mata lang, so isang mata nakadiretso. O nakaganyan. So ngayon, habang lumalabas tong isa, pumapasok tong isang ganon. Pero ang mini-measure nyo, yung deviation nito, kasi nandito yung dioptric power ng prism, wala dito. Okay? Now, pag sinabi naman na modified prism, ito yung naka-deviate, ito yung lalagyan nyo ng prism. Kung ito ay naka-deviate, ito ay naka-iso, ito malamang nakadiretso. 'Di ba? Para lumabas to, anong lalagay mo dito? Bakit? Binaligtad ko lang, bakit tumitingin na naman kayo kung saan? Bakit parang iba na naman yung lengguwaheng sinabi ko? Nahihilo ba tayo? Kasi ako, pakinggan niyo yung boses ko, medyo pasakit na. Medyo malapit na magkasakit. Oh, ulit. Nilipat ko lang. Ito pa rin yung may deviation. Hindi pa rin natatanggal yung ISO nito. Nilipat ko lang yung prism. Nag-modified naman tayo. Kanina tayo ay naka-regular Krimsky. Ngayon naman tayo ay magmo-modified Krimsky. Ano ang gagawin natin? Nakadiretso to eh. 'Di ba? Good eye to eh. So, ano ilalagay natin kay good eye na prism? Base in or base out?
Base out.
Base out po, Doc.
Para mag-ESO.
Out. So, nakaganyan siya. Para ito ay papasok. Dahil papasok to, itutulak niya to palabas. Para ito ay dumiretso.
Opo.
Nakikita? Navi-visualize?
Yes,
Huwag
ma'am.
muna kasi kung ano-anong binivisualize natin. Huwag niyo munang i-visualize yung future niyo ng jowa niyo. Ako muna kausapin niyo ngayon. Alam kong February ngayon. Huwag niyo isipin yung date niyo sa Valentine's. Ako muna. Tayo muna ang mag-usap. Yung mga plano niyo sa buhay, tigilan muna. Doon muna tayo sa modified tsaka sa regular. Na-gets na. Mas kaya na natin. Kahit wala tayong hawak na gamit muna. Para pag hawak na natin yung gamit, alam na natin, gagamitin natin kung paano natin siya gagamitin. Okay? Sige. Ngayon, dahil sabi natin maglalagay tayo ng, ano sabi natin? Maglalagay tayo ng base out, no? Dito sa good eye. So chances are, yung nakadiretso mo dito kanina, dahil naglalagay ka ng prism at nag-i-increase ka ng prism dito, pumapasok to unti-unti. Pumapasok to at dahil may conjugate movement, etong nakapasok na to, lalabas. Mag-i-stop kayo once na ito na ang nag-take ng fixation or ito na yung dumiretso. Sa regular, mag-i-stop kayo kapag yung deviating eye, makikita nyo kasi yan eh, kaya nga translucent yun, di ba? Di ba ang hirap pag hindi nyo nakikita? Pero sabi ko makikita nyo kasi gagawin nyo yan. Sa ngayon, pag-uusapan lang natin siya, pagpunta nyo sa poly, mag-hands-on kayo. Huwag kayong umasa masyado na matututukan kayo ng intern regarding this kasi hindi ko sila masyadong naano nito nun. So, ngayon ako na lang mag-aano sa inyo. Huwag kayong magka-ano sa intern na hindi naman tinuro. Kasi nga, ngayon pa lang din nila ulit inaaral yan dahil sa VSI. Kasi hindi naman ako yung may hawak sa kanila ng pedya dati. Okay? Ulit. Deviating eye, regular, nandoon ang prism. Opposite ng direction ng deviation. Opposite ng direction ng deviation ang prism na nakalagay sa regular. Ngayon, sa modified, nakalagay siya sa good eye. Ang gagawin nyo is palalabasin nyo yung deviating eye or papapasukin nyo. Kung saan man deviation yun, doon nyo pasusunodin. Kaya nga dapat bear in mind always saan at paano ang ginagawa ng prism sa mata. Ano ang power ng prism sa mata? Kasi kahit sa mga lenses, di ba, napag-usapan na natin, your plus and your minus lenses is composed of prism. Di ba?
Yes po, Doc.
Naman. Nabanggit ko yan. Your plus lenses is composed of biprism, which is base to base, di ba? Tapos yung minus lenses nyo is apex to apex, ang orientation ng prism. Because your lenses is composed of prism. Kaya hindi kayo pwedeng lumayo. Akala nyo ginagamit lang si prism sa Korea, sa Tropia. Now, medyo naliwanagan na ba tayo sa Krimsky?
Yes po.
Kaya na, kahit pa paano, may idea na kung paano hahawakan at kung saan manggagaling. Kailangan eye level. Tapos sabi nga ni Carpo kanina, si patient is nakatingin lang sa pen light. So si pen light ay pwedeng nandito lang sa midline. Huwag naman kung saan sa nakalagay si pen light, baka naman issue, tapos nasa taas naman yung pen light mo, pa hyper na yun. Lagi lang tayong start sa midline. Tapos, kung nakaupo si patient, kailangan eye level kayo para hindi kayo nahihirapan tumingin kung naka-deviate na ba or okay na ba, naka-fixate na. Kung maliit si pasyente at malaki ka, ikaw ang mag-a-adjust, hindi si pasyente. Kung malaki si pasyente at maliit ka, ikaw pa rin ang mag-a-adjust, hindi si pasyente. Si pasyente ay dapat laging nasa comfortable na posisyon. Okay? Question? Wala. Can we move forward?
Yes, Doc.
Okay, let's go with word for that test. Word for that test. Kaya nga 4 kasi 4 na dot. Ang iko-correct ko lang dun kanina is pakilagay nga nung slide dear yung sa orientation ng words for that, yung merong 2 green, 1 red, saka 1 white.
Yes po, Doc. Wait lang.
Sige. Ay, hindi. Ayoko ng wait. Kala ko magpapahinga ako eh. No. Oh, thank you agad. Okay, thank you. Lagay mo doon sa may slide na merong Hindi ko alam kung allergic rhinitis to sinusitis. Iba na yung boses.
Saan po, Doc?
May yung may image na ng word for that. Yan. Yan. Sige, okay na yan. So, nakalagay kasi dito is normal binocular single vision. Ito dapat ang nakikita na pasyente. 2 green, 1 red, 1 white. Not all patient can see white. Minsan ang tingin nila sa white is pink or orange. Parang nagmi-mix yung green tsaka yung red color, which is okay pa din yun. Considered pa rin yun as normal retinal correspondence or NRC. Kasi nga nag-confuse pa rin yung nakikita ng 2 mata. Kinorek ko lang kasi baka mamaya is Dahil ito ang nakapresent, ito na naman ang makikita ko sa mga patient form. Binocular vision test, meron din yung part doon sa patient form ng PEDYA. So, paano ang recording doon? Ganyan nyo siya i-record kung paano siya nakita ng pasyente. Kung 3 dot, so you have to use your green and your red pen. Kung 3 dot, kung 3 red, 2 green, ganyan. Ganun nyo siya i-drawing, tapos nandoon yung interpretation ng drawing nyo. Kung paano siya ginagawa. Ginagawa ito both distance and near. Nakita naman na kayo ng word for that. Nagamit nyo naman na yata siya before. Familiar kayo doon. Sige. So ano ang common nagiging problema dito? Pwede bang gumamit or pwede bang mag-proceed with word for that with or without RX? Paano nyo siya ginagawa? With or without RX? If you want to answer, raise your hands. Hindi ako mag-lip reading for today's video. With or without RX? Ayla.
Dok. Bali sa pagkakaintindi ko po is for glasses or contact lens po is often to use as for binocular vision po. Then, wait lang po, Dok.
Tapos, with or without glasses?
Dok, yung nabasa ko po sa may notes ko, with po.
With glasses. Why?
Pag sa distance lang daw po, pero yun, sabi niya.
Pag sa distance lang, why? What if your patient has near correction? Tatanggalin natin yun pag nag-present tayo ng... Because words for that is use both far and near. Yes, Ayla.
Ayun po, Dok. Bali, kailangan pong gumamit po ng glasses po. It is your glasses.
Okay. If your patient has high prescription or astigmatism or ano, mas maganda if the patient wears their habitual correction. Not the, pwede rin naman. Pero kung magpo-proceed kasi usually una yan eh. So habitual correction ang ginagamit natin. Either it is used for near or for distance. Why? Because if the patient has habitual correction, tapos tinanggal nyo yan, syempre, mas mahihirap. Malabo nga ang mata eh. 'Di ba? So, mas mahihirapan siyang makadistinguish. So, si Polaroid glasses is placed in front of the habitual correction. Diba, naka-glasses. Ito na yung salamin ko. Basta may salamin. May ano siya. Si Polaroid glasses is, si Polaroid tuloy. Si red and green filter is placed sa ibabaw ng habitual correction. So, the red filter is on the right and the green filter is on the left. Ang code dyan, RR, right, red, diba? Right eye, red filter. Pangit naman kasi kung babalik ka rin nyo yun. So, okay tayo kay words for that. Alam natin ha, hindi na natin masyadong i-discuss si words for that. Basta siya ay ginagawa for near and for distance. Now, hindi pwedeng gamitin yung malaking box for near, kasi meron talagang words for that for near, which is yung parang flashlight.
Like,
Diba? Kasi syempre, isipin nyo, lumapit kayo, so yung image na mapoproduce nyan, kung yung malaking box pa rin, iba na naman. So yun ang gagamitin natin ha. Meron tayo niyan sa poly. Meron tayo niyan, pati yung mga filters, meron din tayo niyan. So kailangan lang is execution, meaning to say, kailangan lang natin siyang practicein para kaya na natin siyang gamitin para sa pasyente natin. Okay? Next, we have, ano pa yon? Tapos na tayo kay words for that, kay Krimsky. Sino susunod? Brockstring.
Brockstring.
Brockstring, actually, kaya kanina ako nagtatanggal ng cam kasi tumatayo-tayo ako. Hinahanap ko yung Brockstring ko dito sa bahay. Alam ko may Brockstring ako, kaso hindi ko na naman siya makita. Anyway, nakita na naman na kayo ng Brockstring. So, paano siya ginagawa? Yung tatlong beads, diba? Pag ihiwa-hiwalay niyo yun, dapat same distances ang bawat beads. Tapos, si patient, nakalagay si Brockstring. Saan kayo naglalagay? Sa tip ng nose? Sa tip ng nose din. So, nakalagay sa tip ng nose para diretso siyang ganon. Diba? Para diretso siya. Then, you ask the patient to look in front. Tapos, sasabihin niya sa'yo kung ilan yung nakikita niyang beads. Diba? And then, you ask your patient to look sa middle, sasabihin na naman niya sa'yo kung paano yung orientation ng beads. Hindi mo sasabihin sa pasyente na tingin po kayo dito. Ano bang kulay ng beads? Green, red, yellow pa rin ba? Asan ng yellow? Sa gitna, di ba? Tapos green sa dulo, red sa harap. Kasi di ba, bakit gano'n ang itsura ng beads? Kasi red is your shortest wavelength. Diba? Shortest si red, so siya yung nasa unahan. And then yellow and then green. Bakit yung mga itsura natin, parang ngayon lang naririnig yung mga lingwaheng binabanggit ko? Diba we have our wavelength? Kaya nga diba mas sensitive ang mata sa red? Kasi mas short siya. Now, ang itsura ng beads dapat is red, then yellow, then green. Tapos yung distances niya is same para hindi magkakaroon ng conflict. You ask your patient, don't put words on your patient's mouth. You just ask the patient to look doon sa first bead. And then you ask her or him, ano po yung nakikita nyo or ilang beads po yung nakikita nyo. Hindi, yung nakikita nyo po ba yung pa-X? Yung pa-Y po, tsaka yung pa-A, nakikita nyo po ba? Baka maghanap ng letter yan, guys. Kayo lang ang nakakaintindi ng A-shape, V-shape, at X-shape. Siya lang magasabi, asan po yung red? Nandito sa dalawang side, sa kabilang gilid, may dalawang green. So that is your X pattern. Asan po yung ano? Ano po yung, ilan po yung nakikita nyong beads? Pakisabi po sa akin. Ano po? Parang yung dalawang red po nandito, tapos yung dalawang green nandun sa kabila. So sa pag ganun pa lang ng pasyente sa kamay, makikita nyo na pa V yung tinuturo niya. Tapos meron po ditong dalawa, nakikita niyo ba ako? Meron po ditong dalawang red, tapos sa kabila po yung dalawang green. So pag kinonect mo yun, pa-X naman yung pattern nun kasi nasa gitna lang yung yellow. Gets? Hindi yung nakikita niyo po ba yung letter V? May ganun po ba? O ganito po? Hindi niya kayo maiintindihan. Tanungin nyo, ilan po yung nakikita nyong beads? Pag sinabi niyang 4, asan po yung mga beads? Pakisabi po sa akin. Yung dalawa nandito, yung red, nasa harapan ko. Tapos meron pang green doon sa kabilang side. So pag ganun yun, diba? So yun yung para sa Brockstring. Next, we have, after Brockstring, ano pa? Yung sumunod na ano?
Bruckner's.
Bruckner's. Bruckner's, ang ginagamit natin is ophthalmoscope. Chine-check natin dito, actually this is checking in known error of refraction. So ang titingnan natin dito is the crescent na napo-form. Palagay ulit ako ng image nung sa Bruckner's. Ayan. So, the crescent, alam naman natin yung crescent, di ba? Yun yung parang nahihiwalay na kulay doon sa red-orange reflex. Parang moon crescent, di ba? May full moon, may half moon, may last quarter, may crescent, yan, ganyan. Pag sinabing hyperopia, ang error of refraction ng patient is yung crescent niya is nasa upper part ng mata, katulad ng nandito sa image. Ang nakalagay dito, with increasing degrees of hyperopia, the overall red reflex will become dimmer. Habang tumataas ang grado or ang index of refraction kasi yan, habang tumataas yan, mas nagiging madilim. Hindi mas tumitingkad. Hindi mas tumitingkad yung kulay ng reflex. Mas dumidilim siya. So that is your indication na may mataas na error of refraction yung patient. Madali lang yan. Kailangan lang din yan is tiyaga na makita nyo muna yung reflex. Pag nakita nyo yung reflex, lagi lang namang eye to eye level. Yan kasi is binocular ang gawa. So, si oftal nyo, kung kayo ay nasa right eye, ito yung oftal nyo, look at me first, nasa right yung oftal nyo, pwedeng hindi nyo naman na siya silipin as ganun eh. Pwede namang hindi. Kung kaya nyo nang mag-suppress. Ngayon, dahil nakaganyan, dapat yung ilaw niyan, ito yung mata ng patient nyo, no? Dapat parehas yan, naiilawan na. So, medyo mas malayo kayo. Di ba pag nag-oftal tayo, ganun tayo eh. Di ba? So, pag tayo ay nag-Bruckner's, medyo yung isang kamay lang, isang dipa lang, malayo ka lang. Para lang mailawan mo yung parehas na mata ng pasyente because this is done binocularly. Hindi yung iilawan mo yung isa, then iilawan mo yung isa. Hindi mo makikita yung intensity kung parehas ba. Kasi meron nga tayong tinatawag, di ba, na anisometropia, antimetropia. So, kung isang mata lang ang iilawan mo, i-check mo yung crescent, and then iilawan mo ulit yung other eye, hindi mo mapapansin if the illumination or the intensity of the reflex is just the same. So, kailangan make it a point na yung dalawang mata ni pasyente is mailawan nyo. Kaya nga dim ang illumination dito. Patay lahat ng ilaw doon sa refraction room. So, if you are doing this, make sure na kunwari may katabi kayo sa poropter or may kasama kayo sa clinic. When you are doing your retinoscopy and your Bruckner's, you ask permission or you advise yung mga kasama nyo sa clinic na mag-reti po ako o kaya mag-Bruckner's po ako so they will know na magpapatay ng ilaw. Kasi baka mamaya nagpapabasa sa malapit tong isa kasi hindi nagbubukas ng lamp dito sa taas tapos bigla kayong nagpatay ng ilaw, magagalit pa, uy! Yung ginagawa eh. So you advise your mga kasama doon sa clinic na mag-reti po, mag-Bruckner's po, and then saka lang kayo magpapatay ng ilaw. Kaya nga di ba bawat poropter may kanya-kanya yung headlamp. Para kahit na merong may nag-reti sa kabilang side, nakapatay yung illumination ng lahat dito, hindi pa rin affected yung nangyayari doon sa kabilang side. Ideally kasi, dapat talaga patay ang ilaw sa clinic during refraction.
So, Doc, so pwede po palang iilaw yun? Kasi,
Alin?
yung yung headlight.
Meron kasing poropter doon na hindi umiilaw.
Hindi, I mean, kasi sabi ko kung pwede bang iilaw to, sabi ko kasi nagre-reti sila, hindi pang near lang daw.
Pwede. Ideally, during refraction is patay ang ilaw sa refraction room. That is how you refract. Kasi may ilaw naman na nanggagaling sa Snellen at meron din namang ilaw doon sa headlamp. Bakit, Dok, sa poly is naka-open ang ilaw? Because yung ating poly kasi hindi siya cubicle type. Diba? Tapos yung fluorescent parang 2 or 3 lang. Tapos yung ibang poruptor is walang lamp. So, ganun na lang. Paalam na lang kayo. Saglit lang naman. Hindi naman kakain ng 30 minutes para sa Brookners. Kailangan nyo lang talaga. Kasi imagine niyo, kayo ay nag-ready, tapos kayo ay naka full blast ng ilaw. Di ba ang hirap? Nag-reflect yung ilaw ng reti, pati yung ilaw ng fluorescent dun sa lens ng poruptor. Pero sige pa rin, go pa rin. Diba? Kaya mali-mali ang reti ng marami. Kasi maraming nakaka-affect na ilaw. Ano pa? Mabilis lang yan. Indicative lang yan ng error of refraction. Pero syempre, hindi naman dyan check kung ano talaga yung pinakagrado. Para lang malaman natin, lalo na sa bata, na mahirap i-refract. Diba? Magkakaroon kayo ng idea. Next, we have after Brookners. Ano pa? Ito, yan. Depth perception. We have the titmus. Patingin ako ng titmus. Meron tayong ganito. Nakita ko yan dati nung bago pa ako sa Lyceum. Doon pa sa main nakita ko yan. Sad to say, nung nakita ko siya sa poly, na-deep fry na yung na-deep fry na yung fly. Nasunog siya. Ewan ko lang kung napalitan na. Kasi itong malaking to, itong right side, kung nakikita niyo sa screen, yung malaking fly na yan yung gross kasi, gross periopsis yan eh. So yan ang una nyo ipapakita sa pasyente kung nakikita niya yung fly dito. Ngayon, pag meron ng gross periopsis, pwede na kayo mag-proceed dito sa kabila. Etong nasa taas yan, sige yan, pwede palang lakihan. Lakihan mo pa yan. Okay, go. Pwede pali. Okay, thank you. Now, una nyo, gross periopsis, etong fly muna. Hindi muna kayo dito sa mga bilog-bilog. Ito munang fly. You ask the patient to observe this kung ano yung nakikita niya. Hindi nyo sasabihin na may nakikita po ba kayo dyang langaw. You will just ask the patient to observe ano po yung nakikita nyo. Pwede niya yung galawin. Ibig ko sabihin, pwede niyang ganun-ganunin. Yung, diba ito yung booklet. Ito yung booklet. Pwede niyang ganun-ganunin niya, no? Para umangat. Aangat kasi yan. Pag nakasuot na ng Polaroid glasses. Ulitin ko, kung kailangan ng pasyente nyo ng habitual correction, pwede. Okay? Tapos, itong Polaroid glasses, ilalagay nyo lang siya in front doon sa tawag dito, habitual. Now, pag nakita niya yung fly or may nakita siyang object dito, positive for gross periopsis. Lipat kayo dito ngayon sa taas, yung mga bilog-bilog. Alam ko, sa back portion nitong test kit na yan, sa booklet na yan, sa back portion, nandoon yung recording. Hindi nyo huhulaan kasi yan. Meron talaga yung recording, katulad nitong mga 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 na bilog-bilog. Pag nakasuot kayo ng Polaroid glasses, meron isa dyang tataas. Meron isa dyang aangat. Ngayon, sasabihin niya kung up, down, left, right ang umangat. Tapos may recording yan sa likod ng booklet. Susunod naman itong mga animals sa baba. A, B, C. Pag suot niya yung Polaroid glasses, meron din diyang mag-stand out or magti-3D. Meron din niyang result or recording dun sa likod. Ang alam ko sa recording dyan is ano ba recording dyan? ARC yata? ARC? Parang may anak po mo anihin yung ang kulit mo pag humika ka talaga. Basta meron doon recording sa likod ng booklet. Ito yung booklet. Ito yung booklet. Ito yung fly. Ito yung ganyan. Sa likod ditong part, nandito lahat ng recording. Paki-check na lang. Baka may mali akong masabi regarding dun sa recording. Again, hindi natin uhulaan yan ha. Kasi merong corresponding recording dun sa likod ng booklet. Yan, meron tayo niyan. Meron naman ibang present dito na wala tayo. Tapos nabanggit din kanina si words for that. Pan-check din kasi yun ng depth perception. Siyempre, if there is no depth perception, suppression is present. Diba? If suppression is present, there is no depth suppression. Tit mo, saan isusunod na ano? Meron pa dyan eh. Ito, random dot. Sa ano yan eh. Gumagamit din ng Polaroid glasses dyan eh. Dati kasi ano eh. Yung panahon namin, yung ginagamit namin. Alam niyo yung sa ano? Yung 3D. Anong tawag dun? Basta 3D. Yung parang same ng drawing. Tapos pag tinitigan mo, wala kang namang ginagamit na lens. Basta pag tinitigan mo, biglang may aangat na picture or na image doon. Hala, ang tanda ko na ganun yung ginagamit namin dati. Well, anyway, next. Lang test. Ito rin yan. Parang may mga lumalabas din dyan na image. Frisbee. Pero kung wala kayong ganyan, pwede nyo gamitin yung pencil test. Minsan lang test din tawag doon. Marunong kayo gumamit ng stereopsis sa pencil test. Kung wala kayong mga available na stereopsis na pang test. Si patient, may hawak siya na isang pen or pencil. Pencil test nga eh. May hawak si patient na pencil. Now, galing sa likod, igagano ni patient, tatama niya dito sa kabila. Yung pencil na hawak niya. Pag hindi niya natamang ganon, meron siyang problem sa stereopsis. Pero gross stereopsis test kasi ito. Ulit ha. Tingin. Alam pa nga isang ballpen pa. So may hawak si patient na pencil. Yung tip ng pencil, dito siya nakatingin sa tip ng pencil. Then yung isa pa niyang pencil, nandito galing sa likod, ipapatong niyang ganon. Di ba ang galing ko? Kahit malabo mata ko. Kailangan magtatamang ganyan. Pag nagtamang ganyan, positive stereopsis. Pag hirap siyang ganyan, di may problema siya sa stereopsis. So, pwede yun. Gross estimation ng stereopsis. Question. Any question? Clarification? Again, sa mga susunod na reporters, please, ayusin natin, ayos naman, okay naman yung presentation. Kaso nga, again, kung tayo ay magbabasa lang at hindi natin medyo dadagdagan ng animation or ng mga galaw-galaw natin, ipasa nyo na lang sa kaklase nyo, tapos sila na lang magbasa. Huwag na lang mag-present.
Doc,
Yes.
may clarification ako pero sa last topic. Kasi po dun sa diagnosis ng retinoscopy. Kasi yung sa exam, Doc, yung sa given nyo ba na given choices nyo po ba? As is po yun na given or may kailangang transpose?
Alin? Sa exam?
Yes po.
Wala yung copy ng exam ko. Pero alam ko magka-transpose kayo dun, di ba?
Kasi di ba yung sample nyo po is, yung spear is positive. Kunwari lang po sa plano. Kasi may plano dito. Tapos
yung mga
yung
compound
cylinder.
myopic, ganon. Oh.
Kunwari yung given dito is plano. Wait lang, where is that?
Plano combine plus ganon, cylinder.
Plus yung cylinder, kailangan ko po
Oh.
bang i-transpose?
Yes.
Oh my God. Hindi ko po ano.
Bakit kailangan i-transpose? Because
Para
we don't have plus cylinder here. Pero pwede tayo mag-refract ng plus cylinder. Di ba? Kaya
So-
transpose talaga yan.
So, hindi siya,
Ang sagot dyan is,
oo.
pag transpose mo, simple hyperopic astigmatism. Diba? Kasi same lang naman yung amount ng plano sa amount ng cylinder. Amount ng plano. Amount ng plus sphere sa amount ng cylinder. Kasi inad rotate reverse mo lang. Ano sinagot niyo ba? Compound hyperopic astigmatism.
Simple, ano,
Simple.
myopic. Kasi nakaplano lang siya.
Di ba? Paano siya magiging simple myopic? Di ba plano siya? Plano siya, pero ang combination niya is plus cylinder. Ngayon, kapag transpose mo yon, yung plano magiging plus. Kasi inad mo yung amount ng cylinder.
Okay.
Now, the cylinder power will be reversed into a minus cylinder. So, you have your planosphere, you have your plus sphere, and also you have your minus cylinder. So, same amount, so simple hyperopic astigmatism. Saya, di ba?
So, yun yung na-miss.
Yung ganun. Always remember, kahit sabihin ko na VT-net, VT4-net is ganito, pero naka-plus, itatranspose nyo pa rin yun. Huwag nyo sasabihin doon kasi nilagay mo VT4-net, o bakit? Ano ngayon? Pwede ba yan? Hindi. Diba? Ganun lang. Okay? O, pasensya na hindi nyo ako nakita nung first exam. Mabiyahe talaga ako noon. Pero next time talaga. So, ganito ang mangyayari. Huwag munang matuwa, pero wala tayong klase sa Saturday. Because 40 days ng aking binan. So, I have errands to do. Pero, this week is i-hands-on nyo tong topic natin sa poly. Because malapit na kayong mag-practicals. Unti-untiin na ha. Unti-untiin. Dagdag na to. Ang mangyayari is, di ba may mga reporters tayo? Now, hindi sila ang magdi-discuss sa inyo kung paano gagawin kasi nabanggit ko naman na dito. Pwede kayong mag-group into, ilan kayo lahat? 40 plus? Siguro pwede kayong mag-group into 5 para hindi masyadong crowded. 1 test at a time per group. O wala na kayo kung ilang group. Basta maximum of 7. Kunwari, group nila Guani, nag-perform muna sila ng words for that. Huwag mo nang antayin ng group nila Gapus. Sila Gapus, sa iba naman sila pwedeng mag-practice. Kunwari, mag-practice sila sa stereopsis. Diba? Tapos yung group nila Guillermo, kunwari naman, ang sa kanila namang pinapractice is Bruckner's. Para lahat makakaikot. Hindi na by partner to, by group na. Para hindi kayo alam mo yon yung parang you share, parang brainstorming at a time na group learning. Naintindihan? So, ang mangyayari dyan, hindi rin kayo ang magugrupo kung sinong gusto nyong kagrupo. Ang mangyayari dyan is by attendance. Kung sino yung unang dumating, first batch, sila yon. I will advise the interns kasi kawawa naman yung iba. Now, ano bang schedule natin sa clinic? Hindi na kasi katulad, makakahiram lang kasi ako ng other schedule sa faculty kapag practicals na. So, kung ano yung schedule talaga natin for our lecture proper, yun lang talaga muna yung pwede natin gagamitin kapag mga ganito na hands-on practice. Pero kapag practical, katulad ng ginagawa ko dati, nanghihiram ako ng araw sa faculty para isang buong araw or dalawa lang yung ma-accommodate natin, ha? Again, use this time. Kung makapunta kayo sa poly para mag-practice, much better. Kahit wala kayong schedule, I will allow. Basta kailangan tayo ay naka-uniform kasi bawal gumamit ng clinic ng hindi naka-uniform. Kahit practice lang. Ano pa? Malapit na kayong mag-hands-on. By midterm, may practicals na tayo. So, ayusin ko lang yung schedule. Tingnan ko lang kung saan pasok yung schedule. Pero, kung mausap na kayo ng pasyente nyo, this midterm meron na talaga na practical. Try kong ayusin within this week yung scheduling para masabihan nyo na yung mga pasyente nyo. So, by this week, I hope na makapag hands-on kayo practice. Siguro mga 2 weeks from now yung practical. So, you still have 2 weeks para mag-perform at mag-practice sa poly. Okay? Again, next week, wala muna tayong klase. Sleep well muna. Pero, next Saturday, yung wala tayong klase. Pero nitong next week, pupunta kayo ng poly, ha? O, yun lang. Siyempre, may quiz tayo. Pero, mag-i-stretching muna. Okay? Sige, stretching muna tayo, guys. Okay. Andiyan na ba kayo? Umalis ba kayo? Umalis yata sila. So, for now, hindi muna tayo gagamit ng yellow paper. Kasi nag-prepare ako ng quiz na ipopost sa Google Class. Kasi